Because podcasts are an audio medium, I went down a Jake-like rabbit hole about the speed of sound and the idea that every noise you hear and react to is in the past. And depending on how far away from the noise you are, it may be in the somewhat distant past. In average conditions, sound travels at roughly 761 miles per hour. But because we record remotely, technology slows that speed down even more by an extra 100 to 150 milliseconds, possibly even an extra 1 to 3 seconds if there's a significant lag issue. And since we are recording this to be published in a few weeks from now, our voices are even more so ghosts of the past. Because of these delays of light, sound, and time, it takes our brains to process these external stimuli. It makes one wonder if there truly is such a thing as living in the present. Regardless, we're happy that we've made our way into your ears one way or another, and we hope you're delighted by our echoes of the past on such topics as shitting at work. My name's Brandon.
I'm Matt.
Jake.
I'm Derek.
And this is Qualified Nonsense.
Nice.
That was impressive.
Listen, that was great. That was good.
That was a lot of time and effort for those who listen regularly. That's usually Jake's wheelhouse. Excuse me. I just got caught up with all the information.
Yeah, emotional.
Listeners,
yeah,
we have a very special guest. Everybody, welcome Derek Garvin to the podcast. He can go by Derek. He can go by P Bear. He can go by Papa Bear. Even He is a great colleague in the payment processing industry with me. He is a mentor. He's an amazing friend. If you've played hockey in Clark County between 1935 and current, you may have played with him, been coached by him. And I'll let him take it from here. But Derek, welcome.
Derek, welcome.
Thank you. I don't know how to add to that. I appreciate the invite. First of all, I know when Matt told me about this, I think it's pretty impressive. If I remember right, you said you guys all went to high school together. And the fact that you're all still friends, I couldn't even tell you 3 people I went to high school with. So that's impressive. As Matt said, we work together. I get to see him probably more often than I want to, certainly more often than my wife wants me to be able to see him. But I thought it was a great opportunity. I'm a little bit scared and nervous, but I appreciate you guys having me on.
Sweet. Well,
yeah.
Glad to have you.
Thanks for joining us. I believe you said you're in your son's bedroom. That would explain the Baywatch poster on the wall behind you.
Yeah, it's Suzanne Summers from Three's Company, but nice try. Nice. 1935. It might be Rita Hayworth. I don't know. I can't tell.
Oh, I also forgot. Derek has also, you might know him from the hit TV show Leverage. Which
I knew that was coming up.
He starred in for 7 seconds.
Wait, was it Leverage? Actually 7 seconds? I think it was 2.5, but I appreciate that. That means they need to double my royalties.
That rings a bell. I think I auditioned for that at one point.
Well, Derek, tell us about how and why you were in that.
Yeah, okay. I'll keep it short. I'm not good at keeping stories short. So Matt knows if he yells cauliflower, I'm just going to stop if he says that. But so they did a hockey episode, and I knew a lot of people at the ice rink, and I ended up playing in a private group with the associate producer. And when I went to the rink to go ahead and do their audition, there was about 50 people in line. So I skipped it. He called me on Monday and said, "Hey, we need you to come down here. We have too many young kids. We need older people." So I don't know if that was a compliment or not, but I did get, a few shots while we're on the ice, but I got to meet Treat Williams. I believe he has passed since then, but I was extremely nervous down at the Memorial Coliseum, and he looked at me and he said, "Are you a hockey coach?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, when they say action or roll or whatever, just look at me and show me how to break out." And I had a dry erase board. So he made it very smooth. It was an awesome time. I got to meet a lot of people. It kind of spanned out a little bit further than that into meeting a few more outside of that in the hockey world. So it was a great time. To this day, my kids think my only 2 words, I had to look at the camera and say, "Holy crap." That was it. My kids think they dubbed it in. They don't even believe that it's me. I mean, I don't know how you mess up "holy crap," but they still don't believe it to this day. And I have it saved on DVR. And I sometimes at night when I'm feeling kind of bad about myself, I like to watch that and realize what a success I am.
Yeah, you got to. That's awesome. I was just looking it up. I absolutely auditioned for that in my acting days, and I did not get it. So nice work.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is actually,
Need to start
I believe this
coaching
can be
hockey.
found on YouTube as well. We'll go ahead and put the link in our socials for our loyal fans to see and double up on our plays or your plays.
So how long, Matt and Derek, how long have you two known each other?
Was it end of 21, Matt?
21, yeah.
Right about that. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
But we were pretty strong for probably 2 or 3 years. I would say almost on a daily basis. Pretty close to that. A lot of the same trials and tribulations, given that it's sort of the same industry that we do. And, you get like-minded people. I mean, obviously with what you guys are doing here, you get like-minded people. It's fun to hang out. And if you can do that and make money at the same time as a job, then it's kind of a double whammy bonus.
Sure.
Yeah, it was fun. We had kind of a shared office space for a brief moment that it was kind of always fun to go down and, shoot the breeze with each other, go to lunch. They had a trampoline in the office, which is kind of fun.
Okay,
Nice.
nice.
That's just a talking point. I don't even know how that thing made it in there, but it's just one of those little exercise trampolines.
Yeah.
But it was kind of good to. It's the payment processing industry is very competitive and kind of cutthroat, but it doesn't have to be. And that's one thing I appreciated about Derek is having a background in finance myself, and then going to the service industry. He's very gracious with all of his knowledge and kind of is saying, here's what I've learned. Here's, not every merchant processor can be in the same space at the same time.
So how did you guys first get connected? Because you guys both stood up a company together, right? Or did you join an existing company? Or
I have an ISO, an ISO, and then Derek has an ISO as well. And we kind of operated under a certain umbrella, if you will.
I see.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to network with those individuals that,
got it.
For the sake of conversation, if Derek is operating heavily in New York and we're operating heavily in California, it's, it's still competitive, but at the same time, there's so many businesses in this country, and we're wholesale processors, and we legally have to exist. So, it is a nice,
and you're never really competing. You're never really competing against each other, because I mean, I think there's very few jobs where you could drive down the street and, you look left, you look right, and every business you're passing is a potential customer. And I don't think a lot of industries could do that. There's just so many businesses out there.
Yeah, because the thing that you're selling, like you said, like literally everybody needs some version of it, whatever it amounts to be. But interesting.
Every business, I mean, any business that can or wants to take credit cards, we can help. Granted, there's still a few outliers in the rural communities that say cash is king, which it always will be. But those ones are always fun to get on the phone with and talk to. Hearing that mentality.
Really, I mean, as far as like the way the country's going, the internet, like the initiatives to put high-speed internet in these more rural places, that's only a benefit for your kind of industry, right? Because it pretty much relies on there being a stable and fast internet connection.
Yeah,
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the machines used to be, you used to be able to hook them up to, it was just dial up, and then Ethernet came along. Sure. Most of them you could do both. Now trying to find a machine that actually accepts a dial up cord is like trying to wait for Matt to tell a funny joke. Like, you just don't know when it's going to happen, and you could be waiting for years. You don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So like a lot of businesses that are cash only, they'll have an ATM. Like, would you guys service those transactions, or is that operated by someone who owns the ATM?
I mean, go ahead, Derek.
No,
you're the expert.
Yeah, I mean, it could be either. We do offer that option. I think some people like to focus on companies that just specialize in that because they think they're getting a better deal, which I have found isn't necessarily true. But, unless they have to do that because they can't get a machine for whatever reason, I typically don't like to pitch those, because oftentimes they have to service those. And, your machine is never going to run out of the ability to go ahead and take a transaction, but your ATM might run out of cash. And as soon as you run out of cash,
Sure.
and that's what you're relying on, if I have $20 and I want to buy two things that are $39, I have to choose which one I want. And so, but we do have the ability to do that. In many cases, we can do both. Some people like a backup, which is a little bit heavy for an ATM, but it's what the customer wants.
That, in addition to the fact that what we've often encounter is our merchants own the ATMs because they either maintain it themselves and they set their own fees, which they then just collect that fee on. It's a very popular method for them to say, I'd just rather own this outright. I don't need somebody else to come in and fill it full of cash.
I went to a Mexican restaurant a couple weeks ago and they had a Bitcoin ATM in there. It was
Think about how many tacos you could get with a Bitcoin. That's the sort of portions that I'm talking about.
You could probably just turn around and say, I'm going to give you one Bitcoin. I own this spot now, just so you know.
I own this whole block.
I purchased it at the machine.
It's one of the selectable like buttons, like the old ATMs have those like physical buttons on the side.
I guess what is the point of those? Like, is it to like withdraw like U.S. currency or something?
Yeah, I'm sure it converts and you pay a conversion rate, but
I never quite understood those. I see them at the mall, like
or can you like deposit money into them and like buy Bitcoin or something? Or
yeah, but like I never trust them because they're right next to like the Pokemon card machine.
Yeah, no way, dude.
Like, all credibility was just lost.
There's a place at the beach here that we passed by that was like sort of like one of these convenience stores that was between, the towns that are just inland that get most of their business from people passing through. So one of these towns, and then like probably 15 miles towards the beach, but not yet at the beach, is like one of these like little convenience stores, and it's got this big old sign. It's like, now accepting Bitcoin. I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to? Like, what are you doing? What do you mean?
As I pull off in my Bugatti, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I know, right.
Never thought I'd
finally some humanity.
I kind of wonder if like small businesses like that like got hosed by some Bitcoin ATM salesman that came in and was like, oh, you can generate so much revenue and blah blah blah.
I have seen like 60-minute articles going around of that's current. It used to be a scammer's going to call some senior citizen and say, hey grandma, it's Brandon. I'm in the Mexican jail. I just need $100. Go to. But now it's, hey, your account is in seizure. You need to go to this Bitcoin thing and deposit $1,000. And what's happening is it goes to the handle that they give them, which is ultimately the scammer's handle. And you just got taken for that money. And there's literally nothing they can do. It's really hard to trace because it's done at a kiosk. And now they have like police officers almost standing guard out there being like, hey, not going to profile, but you look pretty old. Why are you going to a Bitcoin machine? So, I mean, it is a point of scams these days.
Yeah, I bought a gift card at a self-checkout like over the holidays, and like a thing popped up on the screen. It was like, be aware of scams. Make sure you know who you're giving this gift card to or whatever, so.
I had a friend who did lose about $10,000 on a Bitcoin scenario, just like you had said, Matt. And it was it was a small deposit to start, and then they would send probably some screenshot that was that they just randomly put together, and it showed a huge balance. But in order to release that balance, well, we just need you to deposit another $1,000, and it just kept going until he got up to, I think it was about $9,700, and we kept telling him that. I mean, how many times are you going, just tell them, listen, I'll tell you what, go ahead and release that money, and you can even take 10% of that, which is more than the 1,000 you're going to ask me to put in. And then I get my money and you get more money than the 1,000 that you want me to give. And, he finally figured it out, but it was about $10,000 too late.
Jeez.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
I embarrassingly, I was not nearly taken, but near enough that I was feeling pretty ashamed of myself, and I figured before tonight I was going to take it to my grave. But I had one of these calls of it was the sheriff's department, and they're like, well, the sheriff's department, right? And they were like, there's a warrant out for your arrest. And I was like, wait, like what? And they're like, you missed a court hearing. That's a no-show, so it's technically a such and such, but we've got, basically they had a really good story
warrant out for you. Yeah.
Anyway, and they were like, we need you to go, like you need to come down, and they gave me a physical location to come to. And so I was like, this is wild. Like, I've never heard of this, and this is insane. And like, I was like stressed out. I had my kids with me, and I was like, on the phone for so long. And then I was like, wait a second, like this is all bullshit. And I finally hung up, and I called the sheriff's, because they were like, no, you can't hang up because blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I like hung up, and I called the sheriff's department. They're like, no, that's not a fucking thing. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm sweating just thinking about it, because like I work in IT, like I deal with this kind of shit day in and day out. And so to almost like to basically get drug along for a while, I was like, what are you doing? And I don't know, like I must have been like low on sleep or something, but I was just like, so dreadful.
You should have just said, you'll never take me alive. And hang up.
Yeah. I know, I wish I had.
They're creative.
When you call.
Yeah, they come up with some good. My mom lives right next to us. She's 85 years old. And she'll come over daily. Honey, did you pay that toll fine that you have? Like, no, Grandma, disregard the text message. There's no toll fine. We don't have to pay that. You don't have to re-up your insurance. You don't have to send your card info here. I mean, she gets probably 4 or 5 messages a day, and they are creative, especially if you're older or like me that's not tech savvy.
And the fear tactic is real. Like, for my situation, they were talking about, it was like a criminal offense that you hadn't appeared for, and there was a signature that saying that you had gotten the information to show up to this court date. And I was like, well, that's really bad. and they're like, well, if they make it scary, and you're like, well, shit, I didn't, this seems like a big misunderstanding. They're like, I'm sure it is. Come down to the station, but first go get a credit card. And I was like, wait, what the fuck?
But first, I got a voicemail like that was, I mean, I didn't recognize the number, and it was like, this is the Washington County Sheriff's Office, blah, blah, blah. We have a warrant out, but whatever. And so I just looked up the number, and right. I mean, it was at a time where like I had just dealt with legal issues with this particular county sheriff's office. And so I was like, is this real? But I called them, and everything.
They sold your information.
Those sons of bitches. Yeah. Taxes aren't coming in as fluidly as they used to, so they need to generate revenue other ways, selling our information. Don't tread on me, God damn it.
Well, should we take a break and see if we have any warrants out for our arrest, and then come back for some questions?
Yeah, I need to reapply deodorant. Yeah, let's
be right back. And welcome back. Feel free to drop us a line at qualifiednonsense@gmail.com, or connect with us on our socials or at our Discord. Just look up Discord or look up Qualified Nonsense. I don't know how to. I don't just like. There's not like a web address or anything.
You just know how it works. Just find us.
Ask your grandkids. But if you or someone you know would make a great guest on a future episode of Qualified Nonsense and would like to join the esteemed ranks of Derek, please let us know. Now's the time on the show where we take on Reddit's most pressing queries by finding the top trending questions and answering them here. The first one comes to us from Ask Reddit, username Reggie Bananas. They ask, what's actually safe but people think is dangerous? So what's something that's really safe, but everybody is afraid of it?
Black tar heroin. I know we're all thinking it. I just figured I'd say it out loud.
Well, I mean, along those lines, like,
No, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This
gonna
might
be
have
good.
some
like,
legs here.
like fentanyl in a medical situation, like administered by an anesthesiologist or whatever, I think is perfectly safe. Or any
Isn't
sort
fentanyl
of
just
pain.
Isn't it supposed to help people who are overdosing from heroin?
No,
think
No,
that's
that's
the only-
methadone.
that's methadone.
Oh, I'm thinking of methadone. Forgive me.
Clearly, you need to.
Oh, what
You
an
need to
idiot.
get on some stuff so you can
I
get
think
off
it's
of
good
stuff
that
so
you
can-
don't know too much about that, because that might
Yeah,
be a
there
little
we
more
go.
telling if you could just rattle off all these different things.
Well, like my
Yeah.
wife, who's a physician, tells my kids everything's fine in
My wife.
moderation. So
That's what I was going to
Little
say.
black
Isn't
tar-
everything
little
okay
black
for you
tar
to an
heroin?
extent in the moderation? Or
What about Q-tips in
I
the
would think so.
ears?
Ugh.
I know
Ooh,
that's
ah.
a big old no-no, but like, what about in moderation?
Jake, putting things in holes where they don't belong is not a good thing.
My man, if I could give you a high five, I would.
Oh, I think it can be safe.
That's
if
how
you
you
do
ended
it
up in
right.
the ER that one time.
Just make sure it's flared.
Just make sure it doesn't pop out the other side. I think you're good.
Oh,
What was the question?
What's actually safe, but people think is dangerous?
Flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a big
I know
one for
I
you,
don't like
Matt.
it, but I know it's statistically the safest mode of transportation.
Well, maybe these will jog some things loose here. I'll read some of the top answers here. This person says, I've been living my adult life in constant fear of putting magnets near my electronics, but it turns out that's not really an issue anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Which
need
is
some pretty strong
news to me.
magnets to. Yeah, so the
Does this
Yeah.
person have a bunch of like sub comments under there like, you fucking ruined my Xbox?
only
Well,
only
the-
very
the-
strong magnets will mess up electronics with the main issue was like hard drives, and old spinning disk hard drives had
Yeah, this
like
person says
if you
no, no. So little magnets, no. Big welding magnets, degassers, those will absolutely fuck things up permanently.
It's a gasser.
sure, yeah, big like electronic or magnets or big fuck off magnets, they could still mess things up. But
so no magnets in the hard drive then.
well, there are magnets in the hard drive that keep it real nice and like the plate real nice and still, and it spins. But if you mess up that balance, then it can shred your disk.
Oh, okay.
Or
Yeah, this
or
person
mess it
says,
up.
as far as I know, it was an issue with magnetic mediums like floppy disks and HDDs, and the latter ones mainly because it could miss a line and scratch the disk inside the casing.
Learn something new.
I do remember floppy
I'm
disk.
trying to
But
think
here-
what else is
Fentanyl
like,
in an anesthesia setting.
See, there you go. This seems like it's a good thread to like just mess with people, to be like, oh, you know what I learned isn't bad? Sugar in a gas tank, you know?
It's actually good for your car. Your car likes it.
Really gives it a little oomph.
Little pep in its step.
What about
Non-ionizing radiation, and then in parentheses 5G, radio, Wi-Fi, etc.
Derek, you got one?
no? So okay, it was. I'm sorry. The question again: safe things that are safe that people think are bad for you.
Yeah, what's safe but people think are dangerous?
What about self-driving cars?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think by and large,
I do not have the ability to sit back and let a car drive me somewhere without having my hands on the wheel. I just couldn't do it. I'm sure it's probably safe, but I'm going to be that one statistic. I'll be that 0.1%, and it just scares the hell out of me.
yeah.
Yeah, like we do trust technology with so many aspects of our life, but yeah, like being a passenger in a car. I mean, we would trust like an Uber driver or whatever to drive us around, but yeah, having a computer do it seems like kind of
Yeah, I'm sure the human has a better chance for error than the computer does, but just seeing somebody sitting there paying attention, talking to me, makes me realize they're paying attention to what's going on. I don't know. Computers probably don't fall asleep. I get it, but you never know.
That is true. I mean, you'll get into an Uber and some guy named Ken shows up and he like his profile picture looks like he's been up for 4 days straight, and you're like, seems legit. He's got
every
5
single
stars.
light on the dashboard is on the car, like flashing. And, like,
his car is like, tuk, 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 tuk. Is that okay? Yeah, it's fine.
He's like, have a water. It's like, I love this place.
oh, sorry, the tape fell off that light.
Don't worry about the rattle that hits at 45 miles an hour. And I think the picture, Matt, is actually the Gary Busey mugshot. Typically, that's what my guy looks like. And it's a woman driving, so I don't really understand how that works.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, I think it's probably applicable to all electronic solutions to things that spook people. I mean, frankly, even AI, like people being afraid of AI, it's probably doing more good than not, other than the whole environmental thing. I'm not a big fan, but
what about the people that freak out about like fluoride in the water? You know, it's like, you know, there were people that I remember when I was a kid that had like big opinions of it. It's like, no fluoride. It's like, it's not going to hurt you.
You mean the government trying to control our minds?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is I mean, I think fluoride. It's a controlled substance. Like it's like a prescription substance, I think.
I just got a case of 4 showed up to my house because Ridgefield doesn't put it in our water. So I have to get my kids to swish with it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I know
we don't take kindly to government-controlled substances in these parts.
I tell you what.
Well, I mean, that gets into like somebody mentioned previously, the 5G, and then there's like chemtrails and all that kind of stuff that, you know, you kind of go down a conspiracy rabbit hole, and you know,
Matt's eyes just got so big when he said conspiracy. He's like,
so Derek happened to listen to an episode of ours that dealt with well, we have an episode where we said cunt probably 800 times in it, and that was fine. However, Derek, you might if you haven't listened to us, and that's totally fine, I liked to go down some conspiracy rabbit holes. I just think they're fun to talk about.
I love them. They're fun.
But if you talk about them a lot, it turns out you kind of start to believe them.
Well, and then I start getting ads on my phone somehow about the things that we're talking about, which kind of weirds me out a little bit too. Like, I've never looked at any website with it, but Matt brings it up one time and suddenly this ad keeps popping up over and over and over.
That shit'll happen.
Yeah.
They're not listening to us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of trying to rack my brain of, nah, I guess it's probably a really small sect, but people that have like really strong feelings about things in the house, like, oh, I can't use that paint on my wall because it has lead in it, or things like there's no paint that has lead in it.
Does any
like,
paint have lead in it? Or
not anymore. I think
not modern day paint.
Oh, actually, no. I'm sure there are. What paint has,
like, for like industrial applications or something?
Yeah, there are industrial applications for it. I don't know why I tried to think of it, because it's not on the tip of my tongue at all. I'm just I know that it's listen. If you want to paint your nuclear reactor yellow, that shit's gonna have lead in it. Try to prove me wrong.
Actually, that's
another thing. Nuclear energy is you know, very, very safe compared to well,
have you seen that
coal producing, power or whatever?
There's
people freak out about it.
Nerdy YouTube guy that basically watches videos and comments from a nuclear physicist's perspective who like operates and designs nuclear facilities, and it's very entertaining. I'll send them to you guys, but it's very entertaining from the perspective of someone just with like just a wealth of knowledge about how basically nuclear energy is like there's so much effort put into safety that it's fun.
Is that one in Eastern Washington still running?
That's a super fun site. No,
they shut it down.
What's the one? What's the cleanup site by Tri-Cities? Derek?
Is it Hanford?
Not Hanover? No, not. Oh my gosh,
Hanford.
Hanford.
I think it's the Hanford.
Yeah,
that's a super fun site though. They're doing all cleanup on it. It's one of those. It's one of those sites that will like never truly be clean, but they always kind of have to move stuff around. I did see. Speaking of that, I saw this video last week of this guy who, come to find out, his channel is all about explaining complicated things in pretty much a third grade way, which I find very, for my Peabody brain, awesome. But it also has illustrations to go with it, so it's like almost a small cartoon. And that was the exact same video that was suggested, was him explaining nuclear power and like what fission is and how they handle waste and why it's revered as so dangerous because of pretty much Chernobyl. And a few other accidents or not appropriately handling the waste aspect to it. But he's pretty much saying, this is how much you make and it can power this entire town. I was like, this is amazing. Why don't we do this more?
Yeah, the Columbia Generating Station is a nuclear commercial energy facility located on the Hanford site, 10 miles north of Richland, Washington. Which also on the Hanford site is the LIGO Hanford Observatory.
Ooh,
but apparently, this Columbia Generating Station is still running.
Oh, it is still running.
Yeah.
So
that's why all the people out of Tri-Cities are kind of just a little.
Well, so if you had a chance, yeah, and had a really good potential deal to buy a house, but it was right next to a nuclear power plant, would you take it? 75% price reduction, but you look out your backyard and bam, there it is, sitting there in all its glory. And then your son comes out with his, fourth ear sticking out of his forehead, and, whatever else is going on. I don't know, but it's a hell of a deal on the house, so I don't know. I couldn't, because my wife would say no. I'd be out. I'd be living single.
So yeah, say maybe later in life.
So maybe when I go to visit my in-laws, there is the Sheeran Harris nuclear power plant that you can see from the highway. And especially when it's super warm or super cold, it's really billowing. And you can see it from a distance. But my in-laws live close enough to it that when they moved in, they got mail from them with little iodine pills, being like, hey, if you hear from us, go ahead and take this.
Nice.
I was like, wow, that's, I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
That's like a very 50s mentality.
Right?
I love it. I love it, though.
Iodine pill. It's like, great.
Does it have does that one have like the classic, like the Simpsons cooling towers?
It does. That's what you can see from the highway. It's pretty, because at first I didn't know it was there. And when we first moved down here, or rather when my in-laws first moved out there, we went out and I was like, it's beautiful over there. And I look over and I'm like, on the horizon, I just see a huge, because you can't really see the smokestack unless the weather's really good, but you can definitely see the steam. And I look over and there's this like very wide, like billowing steam, and I was like, that's a power plant. There's nothing else that can produce that much volume. And sure enough, it was. And on clear days, it's actually pretty, it's pretty impressive, but a little spooky.
I just watched the documentary on the one in Pennsylvania that I didn't actually
3 Mile Island.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, that was it. And that was yeah. They're so ominous. I don't think I could live that close to one. I mean, those people literally, it was like their backyard decoration. They went out and there it was. And that didn't
put
end
Christmas
too well.
lights on it.
I'd be really good decorated. That's not Santa Claus flying over the top. That's a leak.
Yeah. Did y'all watch Chernobyl when it came out? Or since it came out? I've only seen clips of it. I haven't actually watched it. My wife, she doesn't. It wouldn't be a good show for her to watch. So we haven't watched it. But it looks really interesting.
Does she
Jake's wife is a therapist, and she's like, I don't need any more sad stories today.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
My wife will sometimes, depending on what we watch, she'll get this anxiety, and you can see that kind of building up to where she just has to turn it off. And I'm thinking like it's just the story behind how Elmo started, honey. It's not that big a deal. Like we haven't even gotten into the tough stuff yet. You're really going to be in trouble when we start digging into the real stuff.
Jeez. We usually I'm glad I have the partner that I do, because we'll watch something kind of heavy or scary or just like, yeah, it's good, but then we'll look at each other and be like, should we follow it up with a episode of Jackass? Yeah. It's always better when you see somebody get hit in the nuts. And you're like, you can go to bed happy.
Yeah.
There was speaking of all the nuclear stuff, when I worked at Main Brew, when they had like the bottle shop side in the homebrew store, there was a beer that came out. I just looked it up, from Hitachino from Japan, that was like, while the beer was like actively fermenting, the Fukushima disaster happened, and like the brewery is like near where that happened, and so they sold this beer as like special whatever, like nuclear meltdown beer, whatever. And
the US allowed for that to be sold?
Yeah.
I guess I'm not surprised by anything anymore. But did people buy this? People bought this and they're like, oh,
I believe I tried it, and I mean, it didn't. I don't know. It didn't. I mean, it was a novelty thing, but it didn't really taste.
I mean, my testicles are the size of snow peas, but it was fun. It's like,
how do you think that mustache came in so full?
Yeah, I have a fire breath now, and
wasn't do you guys remember the what was it, the container that washed up after that event on the Oregon coast?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of like little trinkets.
Yeah.
That
like
was
bottles
wild.
And stuff.
I think a bunch of crap washed up, like boats and things like that that kind of drifted over.
Which is insane because the Pacific is huge.
Yeah, you can have it.
Well, should we move on to another question? Maybe
sure.
Maybe kick up the mood a little bit. Anyway, nuclear fallout.
Nuclear disasters.
It's a great topic.
Well, I mean, this person is swallowing gum. So,
oh yeah,
trick or treating. No one's going to poison your kid's candy. Flying is statistically safer than driving. MSG. Most spiders are harmless. So, just stuff like that.
I was going to say something that Derek, you and Brandon have the same opinion and love of sharks. So I was like, it's kind of one of those. Hasn't it been proven that like sharks don't really want to get you? Like I've seen so many like wildlife people swimming with them, and they're just like free diving and hanging
counterpoint, out. Jaws 2, Jaws 3.
Yeah. Can I just say real quick, I'm guessing nobody else here is 54 years old. When Jaws came out, I saw it, and we used to have these things, you guys might not remember, called waterbeds. And I had a waterbed, and after we saw Jaws, because that's a great thing to take I guess I would have been 8 years old, Great movie to take your 8-year-old to. So I literally couldn't sleep on my waterbed for about 2 months after that, because every time I'd fall asleep, it was the same dream. It was me on a piece of wood, floating in the middle of the ocean, and the shark just circling. And so I would lay on the floor on the side of the bed. They'd come wake me up like, what's wrong? I'm like, the shark's going to get me. There's no shark in your waterbed. I'm like, prove it. Cut it open. Go ahead. We'll duct tape it back together. Whatever you have to do. But don't give me that bullshit that there's no shark in there. Or maybe just don't take an 8-year-old to see a stupid horror movie. I don't know. But yeah, that ruined me for sharks. Absolutely.
I have like the irrational fear of swimming in a pool at night. Like, I know there's not a shark in there, but I can't see what's underneath me.
It's
so
yeah.
Well, so we would always go and tickle Brandon's feet.
Isn't the consensus drowning and fire are supposed to be two of the worst ways to die? I think is what I've always heard. I would take either of those over seeing that fin come towards me and knowing that I'm not Aquaman and I'm screwed. Like, I can't do anything and I'm going to die. I think I'd rather drown. Yeah. What's worse than death? Steven Seagal. It's the anticipation of death.
Or one of the worst ways to die is like a shark has you by the leg and it's pulling you under, and then you end up drowning while like a shark's dragging you under.
Okay, now so what do we think about? So shark coming towards you. What about you if you see a crocodile back coming towards you?
It's equally as terrifying.
Which one would you prefer?
I mean,
something I've heard recently is that. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when you're in the water with anything like that, you're a bath toy to them. Like, what are we going to do in their territory? I mean, I think anything. I mean, I could see a 17-inch water moccasin coming towards me. I'm going to scream like a little baby and probably drown myself. I mean, I'm not a huge water guy to begin with. But anything that is going to eat me.
I'm not doing this.
I'm just tapping out. Yeah, can I drown myself before he eats me? That's the question.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're not going to outswim an animal that lives in the water, But
and then it's like if the shark is taking you down, it's going to take you down so far, and then like let's assume your leg rips off, and then you're so far down that you're trying to like swim up for air, and then your leg is already gone, and then you just die.
Yeah, and then him and the other sharks are all just swimming around you, laughing at you because you can't do anything. Don't break into my house. It's not so much
the sharks; and the leg loss. It's the mockery that comes with it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they swim around with that little toothy smile that they've got. Yeah. He's
like, I wasn't going to even eat them anyway. They taste gross.
Yeah. And Jaws was bad enough, and then they go and make that deep blue sea with these genetically modified sharks that are smarter than we are, which probably could happen. I mean, we're going to have apes and sharks probably running the planet in, who knows, 5 to 10 years. I don't know how that's going to work out.
The last thing we need are sharks that can swim backwards.
No, unless you got LL Cool J with you, then you're okay.
Fair. Derek, we had just recorded an episode that's not quite out yet, but by the time this comes, it will be. Anyway,
was it last week or the week before?
Yeah, I forget which episode, but we were talking about waterbeds and like why they kind of phased out, and we only had an AI search of they cause a lot of insurance damage, they're super heavy, and they were just not very practical. How long did you have yours?
Okay. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the first part? Cause my thing kind of froze up. I didn't hear what you were saying.
I was just saying we had an episode where we were talking about waterbeds, and we did kind of an AI. We did an AI, kind of a brief overview as to why they've like phased out. And it was like insurance, like you get a leak in it. They're also super heavy.
Yep.
But how long did you have yours for, and why did you get rid of it? Aside from sharks?
So because I moved out, I stayed at home till I was 26 years old, not in the basement. I never yelled at my mom to make meatloaf or anything like that. But, I kept it for a while. I actually had my now current wife, when we were dating, she came over one night and we, laid in that waterbed. And I thought I was pretty cool at that point. But, once you hit 24 and you're still with your parents in the waterbed, which, by the way, like you said, Matt, you never move because you have to drain it. Then you have to move the frame, which is usually in 20 pieces, fill it up, make sure there's no wrinkles, because if there's a wrinkle and you fill it up, then it's going to rip. Then you have to get the patch kit that they don't include. And yeah. So I think when my mom said it, I think you're old enough to move out now, I think the bed kind of went with it. Didn't go with me. It left the door right behind me, though. But
nice.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I loved it. It was a lot of fun, though. It really was.
How old were you when you got the waterbed?
I think I want to say, I think it was 7 years old. So you have almost about 20 years.
It seems
years.
wild.
Yeah.
To be my wife also grew up when she was a kid. She had a waterbed, and it just seems like such a wild thing for a kid to have. Like,
well, because
I don't know.
It seems irresponsible. Like, you get a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, like, yeah, and then oh shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, what do kids like to do in the bedroom, right? They like to jump up and down on the bed. First of all, if you did that, obviously you're going to push all the water down to one end, and then you're standing there thinking you're cool. But when it hits that end and then comes rolling back at you like a wave, then it launches you off the bed. You may or may not dislocate a shoulder. Maybe you end up with stitches in your chin. I mean, nice. Hypothetically speaking, of course.
Hypothetically, sure, of course.
Yeah.
I just imagine like the kid that has a waterbed is like a kid who wears like silk shirts and gold chains and like dresses like Hugh Hefner or something, like a 7-year-old kid.
Silk shirts and gold chains.
If I really had the wherewithal back then, I would have saved that waterbed, probably got some kind of a Volkswagen van and just put that thing, get the shag carpet, curtains over the window.
Nice.
Take one corner and end up in the ditch.
Yeah.
Flip it all the way over.
Well, should we do one more question?
Yeah.
You got time,
this one
Derek?
comes
You good?
from.
I've got nothing but time.
Sweet.
All right, this one comes to us from the subreddit No Stupid Questions, username Reddit Basement. I saw this one. It is hockey themed, and it's something I'm wondering as well. So hopefully, Derek, you can help answer this. Why is hockey the least popular of the 4 major sports in America? Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. They say, I have no clue why. It's a fast-paced game with very few stoppages and phenomenal players. Why isn't it as popular?
I've got a theory.
Oh, I would actually like to hear that. I do have a thought on that, but I would be curious to hear the theory.
I wonder if it's the same woes that soccer gets, which is there's not very many points. Generally, there are fewer points than these other games that like rack up hundreds of points. But I'm really interested in your expertise.
Baseball is a pretty low scoring game, but
that's true.
Yeah.
Baseball, like I enjoy going to a game, but what a dog shit sport. Like that's sorry for all the baseball fans out there, but like, man, it's so boring. I like playing catch, but like it's boring.
Yeah.
Well, you could have guys that look like me and be good at a sport. So like how hard of a sport is it? Or like how much athleticism is there in baseball?
Absolute athlete.
I will say real quick, my son's he's a golfer, and for a while I would kind of harass him that golf is a hobby, not a sport, and that didn't go, because I said, listen, I mean, I know guys that are 75 years old, smoke their cigars and do nothing but drink beer the whole time, but they drive the ball 300 yards. They could never play competitively, but it's a fun hobby for him, and he didn't like that.
No, I bet not.
No, I think the hockey, first of all, baseball, because it's just been around so long, America's pastime, right? So I think that one's kind of a given. But I think because I feel like there's a lot of people that don't necessarily understand the sport. Some of the rules that come into play there, I think it makes it a little bit more difficult. Basketball and football, because again, they've been around a little bit longer. And I think a lot also is the West Coast, until Wayne Gretzky got traded from Edmonton to LA, there really wasn't anything on the West Coast. And then you started to see that branch out. You got Dallas, you got Phoenix involved. Now Utah's got a team, Seattle getting a team. So I think it's becoming more popular, but because it was really geared towards, you had the Rangers, you had the Blackhawks, I think you had three American teams. So I think it was just too hard to compete. Now, the teams that they did have, I will say this, I feel, and I'm obviously a little bit biased, but I think hockey fans are pretty passionate about their teams. I mean, we're not, Bill's Mafia type scenario. There's no flaming tables or anything, but I just, to me, it's just a different sport, a different beast. And that's why I really kind of enjoyed it, the camaraderie that goes with it. And even the fans, like, I don't think I've seen too many fights between fans of games that I've been to, whereas I don't know, certain professional sports teams in Portland, you go there and, security's pulling people out that are throwing beers on each other. And I kind of a respect. And maybe I just got lucky with the games I went to, but I do think it's the understanding. And, had that expansion to the West Coast and down into the States happened, 30 or 40 years ago, I think it'd be a different game right now as far as the people understanding. I know in LA, it started out with nobody knew hockey, but you wanted to be there, right? Oh, there's, Kirk Douglas, there's, whoever back in the 80s, whoever's popular. But
right.
Now I think people are starting to understand it a little bit more and maybe appreciate, again, biased perspective, but, most everybody can pick up a ball and throw it towards a basketball hoop. Most people can pick up a ball and throw it. Most can pick up a bat and hit it. But go ahead and put, tiny 1/4-inch blades on your feet and go move around with a stick. Don't forget you have to breathe. Look up so you don't get hit by somebody. And you have about 1.5 seconds to make a decision when you get the puck before someone puts your face into the glass. So,
right.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, skating backwards, like skating alone, difficult. Skating backwards at the breakneck speeds that they do, and you said, like, look up so that you don't get hit, because you will get hit if you don't look up. Like, it's not like they bump into each other sort of thing. It's like
there's a reason they're not the prettiest of all the major league athletes too.
Well, okay, easy.
I mean, Derek, how many teeth are original? That's what
I've got four fake ones. I did break my nose 5 times. I had stitches above my right eye, stitches on my chin, and many a bloody lip. Usually that's because of comments I made about somebody else's mom, but I have what was that? It was an alligator mouth with a hummingbird ass to back it up. So those were my fault. A lot of them, but you just can't say things to guys twice your size.
Derek, we've chatted about this before, but one thing I've always wanted to do is learn how to chirp like a hockey player.
Yeah.
You
fucking
it's just
stick.
like them. Yeah. Them just like coming at each other. Like, they have the most unique, and it feels just like they're just Johnny on the spot with their wit of being like just their insults on the ice. I always found that'd be fun. But kind of a theory into, you were just saying you can pick up a bat, you can pick up a ball and shoot it anywhere. Do you think part of its popularity, or why it hasn't gained steam and momentum, is the access to the resources themselves? Like, I know in Vancouver, there's one ice rink.
Yeah.
How many basketball hoops are there?
Yeah.
I know when I was a kid, I wanted nothing more than to play hockey, but that inherently came with, it was the most expensive sport to play because you need all the gear, and my family didn't have the resources and means to do it. We'd have to drive to Clackamas Town Center every night, which I knew they weren't going to do from Sandy. It's like, I think everything had to be so centralized, unless you wanted to be on a roller hockey team, which nobody wanted to do because turns out you're not a fairy.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
It was great for training though.
The no teeth part reminded me that my mom has memories of meeting some of the hockey players that came through the Portland Coliseum. My grandfather on my mom's side, Jim Shear, he was a general manager for a number of years.
At the Buckaroos?
And
Portland Buckaroos?
I must have been.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And anyway, I remember when I was young, he had some good stories, and my mom has some fun memories of being able to like meet the team and stuff. And she was like, man, they were just a bunch of bruisers, like real friendly guys, but like real roughed up. And yeah.
Oh, I think, Matt, I want to say, what you said, that one of the last years that I coached, 13 and 14-year-old kids, we played 84 games that particular season. The only weekend we had off was Christmas weekend, and that's because the team we were supposed to play canceled. We were traveling all over Washington. We went to California. We went to Texas. I think we went back to Michigan that year. But that particular season, just for the team, that did not include their travel or hotel, it was $9,000 per child. Now, this would have been in, I'm going to say 2001, maybe 2001, 2002, somewhere there. So not a 9,000 nowadays. That would have been 9,000 back then. And now some of those kids, you happen to know one particularly that we work with. They took those careers and went, I guess it's really not fair to call it a career. They tried and they went farther than a lot of kids do in Portland, but you're spot on. I mean, the cost, because you only have one rink, is, it's ridiculous that, what it costs to do that. Figure skating, frankly, is the same way. I mean, it's a very elitist kind of sport. And,
Sure.
if you've got your leagues where you can just go, I play every Monday night in a 50 and over league now. And frankly, I just go so I can sit around, tell the same stories and, see if I can't get someone else to put icy hot on me because I can't reach my lower back now. But it's expensive to play. And I do think that really keeps a lot of people away from playing, unfortunately.
Now, Derek,
Would
correct-
you?
Oh, go ahead, Brandon.
Oh, so when you coach, like, is there, like, is all the practice on the ice, or can you do any sort of practice or drills off the ice?
Yeah, you could do anything. We would try and get there an hour early, and we would do plyometric, some speed, quickness, agility, and strength training. Then we would get on the ice, and then a lot of times for our special team stuff, our power play and shorthanded, we would just go get a gym that we could rent for $25 for 2 hours. And we would kind of line it out with the blue line, sort of like an offensive and defensive zone. And we would take a basketball as a puck, and we could work on the rotations that the kids would do so that when they got on the ice, they would understand that, because we were paying at that point, I believe, $325 an hour for ice time. Parents do not want to see you standing around, explaining stuff like that. You do that shit off of the ice. When you're on the ice, my kid better come off the ice tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of creativity.
What are the local? Oh, go ahead, Brandon.
Did you have any kids who had no experience with ice skating at all, and you kind of had to, like, teach them how to be on skates, or did they have experience? Did they come in? Okay.
Not so, Matt, you mentioned the town center. I actually did manage the rink at the town center for a while, and they didn't have a hockey program, so they tasked me with starting that, which I did. But it all starts with the learn to skate classes. So you are taking the people that have no idea what they're doing, and put your hands out on the imaginary table and just walk across the ice. That's how it all starts. And then then you rope them in with the $250 skates, the $100 stick, $75 helmet. And then once they're $2,000 of equipment in, now they're locked. And what parent is going to sit there and tell their kid no? So that's kind of how it all starts. So with that begin to skate class.
Mind
So
you,
now-
this
now
still
I
was
have to
very.
ask-
This was very.
I
I was
have-
just gonna say this is still very close to the Mighty Ducks time, which was like, man, every kid I so badly wanted to get rollerblades and just rip through the mall.
Oh, yeah.
Be like, yeah.
We had a huge spike in numbers when the Mighty Ducks came out. We did with our learn to skate. We would think maybe 10 to 15, and I think we were getting maybe 30 to 40 kids per class, and it was all that people would come with the Mighty Ducks jersey, and by the time half of them fell because they got a toe pick the first time, they got blood on their jersey. They never came back. Parents got mad at us, but we got their money.
Nice.
I do have to ask, since you did manage Clackamas Town Center and you live in Southwest Washington, have you ever met Tonya Harding?
I got, I had some. So before I managed it, I was working the morning shift. It would start at 4:30 in the morning. The figure skaters would come in, and I was actually working there when all of that Olympic stuff was happening. And I would show up to get into the mall at 4:30, and there would be probably 30 to 40 reporters, waiting, because there's the end of the mall. I don't know how well you guys know it, but at the end of the mall, there was a muffin break right there. And that was kind of the open end. So they were allowed to set up their cameras. Now, she didn't usually come in until probably 10 o'clock to skate, but if you wanted to get that prime time spot on the glass, they had to get there at 4:30. And yes, multiple times. There was one time in particular, she was skating in the evening, and it was advertised. It was in conjunction with the mall for publicity. And we got a phone call right before she's about to go on, and someone said that if she takes the ice, that they were going to shoot her. So my boss immediately looked at me and said that nobody knew what to do. So he looked at me, he said, go get on the Zamboni and clean the ice. And I said, okay, no, wait. They're expecting her to be out there. If someone's really out there and she's not out there, are they just going to say, hey, I tried to warn them, and they're going to try and take me out? So I literally on the Zamboni, kind of, ducking and excuse me, and driving around. I met KGON used to have a show, the Mark and Brian show. I met them. I met Connie Chung. Yeah, I actually, with a friend of mine, we both had to go down to the FBI building in Portland to see what we knew, because those guys would come in, the bodyguard guy, they would come in with her little entourage, and we had to go in there and tell them what we knew, which really was nothing. I mean, it was a circus. It was an absolute joke, but
that's wild.
Yeah,
wow.
It was a learning experience. I tightened the blade one time. No, that's not. No, Matt. It was literally tighten the blade.
Well, she lives in, I don't know if she still does, but for the longest time, she lived in Battleground, and she could be seen at, what was the bar called there? 2 Below? What was it called? 10 Below?
Oh, I thought it was
right
the Prairie one, the Prairie Bar and Grill. It's not. I thought it was Prairie
Tavern.
Or Prairie Tavern.
Well, either way, she was not the best version of herself when she was in the Battleground area.
No. She was
local celebrities.
Yeah.
Did you ever see her out and about, Matt?
No, she had previously gone in. It was like one of those passing in the night kind of a things, because there is a bar in Battleground. God, what was it called? It was right next to Playmakers, and they had a cocktail called the Triple Axle because she came in so much. And I was asking, like, oh no, she was just in here. I was like, oh, and I was like, I don't know, it was 2017. I didn't really care enough at that point to be like, oh, I need to go find her. I was just like, cool. I was like, neat.
Far enough out of the spotlight that no one's going to care anymore.
Maybe she'll throw a hubcap at me. Who knows?
Yes. I have a couple more that I probably just, let's keep those to myself.
Well, yeah, this is recorded, so
yes.
I was just curious, since if you ever cross paths with her. But
what are the current? Are there local teams in your guys' areas for hockey?
For professional or for
professional?
Well, Seattle.
Professional.
Yeah, Seattle's got the local team. We have the Portland Winterhawks have been here, I believe, since 1970. And they've got a really good following, and I think a lot of that is price point. They've done pretty good at keeping the price down. When they were looking at bringing the NHL to Portland, I think a family of 4 could go to a game for, I think it was around $50 to $60, and the projected NHL was going to be, I think, $200. And I don't think the Portland fans, I think that's why they elected to not do that. I don't think that Portland would have left the junior team to go see, based on the price and the following that they'd already had.
Yeah.
And what is the league called, Derek? Is it WHL?
WHL, it's a Western Hockey League, which is part of the Canadian Hockey League. There's the Ontario Hockey League, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, and Western Hockey League, which I believe I just saw a number that said that they provide, I think it was 80% of the current NHL players come from the Canadian hockey system. So it's a huge provider to the NHL.
I mean, that makes sense, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We've got the oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that we've got the Hurricanes here, and I've got friends and neighbors that have gone and seen them, and the price point is pretty high. So I haven't gone to see them yet, but I hear it's a really good time. And we're going to splurge at some point, but we haven't done it yet.
It is, a lot of what I like about hockey, and maybe the other sports do, but they do they do the theme night. They'll do the teddy bear toss. They'll have the mascot
Yeah.
games, things like that. And if you hit the right games, especially if you don't go a lot, it's really easy to kind of get caught up in it. And everywhere else you go, if there's a fight, people try and stop it immediately, and guys get kicked out. If there's a fight here, everyone kind of backs up and tries to figure out who's going to win. Then you go to the box for 5 minutes and come out and do it again. That's pretty entertaining to me.
Yeah.
No, you don't find that everywhere, and it's
Yeah.
part of the game.
Got I live in Eugene, and we've got the Oregon Ducks hockey team here, and I've been to a couple games, and those are fun to go to. Tickets are cheap; they're like $15 or something, and yeah, it's a good time. There's usually Voodoo Donuts is giving out free donuts before the game, and
They sell the beer garden
Nice.
down there during the games.
They don't have a beer garden. They do have a concession booth. You can buy beer
Oh,
at
okay.
the concessions, but it's not like a beer garden you can hang out at or anything.
We played a kind of an exhibition thing down there, and there's a beer garden in the corner, and we were warming up, and there's about 3 or 4 ladies that were standing by the glass with their back turned. So I took the butt end of my stick, and if you hit it nice and flat against a glass, it sounds like a gunshot. And as soon as I did that, there was 4 beers that just went flying straight up into the air, and they're pounding on the glass and yelling. And we ended up, it was a 5-on-5 brawl that night. I had a guy that was trying to flick blood on me, and we ended up getting escorted out by the Eugene Police Department in our bus. So that was a very memorable time. But yeah, the beer garden was still the
I
best
can't
part
imagine
of that.
that the ice rink has really been updated since then. It does kind of it shows its age.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's probably.
But I mean, that
looks
is the
same
thing
as
about
when you play
hockey,
there.
right? All you really need is a goal, and I mean, in terms of facilities, you just need ice, right? And you don't need anything fancy.
It is hard. I mean, for those who play a lot, I just went to Victoria for that tournament, and every street corner's got a rink up there. But because of the climate and their temperature, the ice is really good. And it actually, we sharpen our skates because you spend very little time on the flats of your skate. Usually, it's an inside or outside edge. So when you go from playing up there, and it's this beautiful sheet of ice, and your skates are sharp and perfect, and then you come down and play it at Mountain View in Vancouver. And, it's actually slows you down because your skates are too sharp. So you do just need the ice, but the system producing that ice really makes a big difference too. I mean, I don't think me being 230
Makes
pounds
sense.
is what slows me down. I think it's the sharpening job personally. It's
Bad,
not
bad,
me.
bad
It's not
ice.
me. Yeah. That's
Come on,
Have you
Vancouver.
ever played outside, like on a frozen pond?
yeah. I did a couple times, and that's just it's like what's the Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will. It's one of those scenarios. I think.
Yeah.
And when I was coaching too, Klamath Falls and Bend had outdoor rinks, and the kids played down there at night. And as we're walking out to the ice, the snow was falling. I mean, it was really just it was amazing. It was awesome.
Is it challenging to skate on that? Like, I mean, I can't imagine the ice is perfect. So, like, if you hit something, is that like a speed bump to you?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have to be careful. I mean, I've seen some guys that ate it pretty hard.
Like if there's like a pine cone frozen on the water or something. Like
it doesn't take much. I mean, we used to put Scotch tape on the bottom of people's blades that we didn't like. So as soon as they hit the ice, it went straight down. So it doesn't take much to go ahead and do that. And, if a person hypothetically was skating on a pond playing one-handed beer hockey where you have a stick in one hand, you have to have a beer in another, things can go south pretty quick. I mean, literally and figuratively. So,
oh man, what a mess! That sounds great.
It's good.
Are you a Letterkenny fan?
Watched it a little bit. I just don't watch too much TV. I got this guy that I work with, kind of weird looking guy, wears glasses, does podcasts. Mm-hmm. He calls me all the time.
Yeah, we've got one of those too.
Yeah. So you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then when I don't answer because I'm actually working, he's probably taking another nap.
It's not always untrue.
No, you're right. I do take a lot of naps.
Let me at him.
I am going to get you on the ice one of these days, man.
Gloves off.
Yeah. We're just going to rent the ice, and we'll get the whole gang out there. And
I do think it would be really fun. It would definitely scratch a childhood dream that I just never got to do.
Yeah, and we'll have them shut the lights down, turn the disco ball on too, and you can bring your own
There you
playlist.
go.
Get some prints out there.
Yeah,
Treat it like Skate World. Will you buy me a rose?
I'll do a couple skate with you to Purple Rain, Matt. Just you and I holding hands, skating in
That'd be
circles.
beautiful. That'd be beautiful.
Do the chicken
Good thing.
dance.
We used to do the hokey pokey at the town center. That was the most embarrassing thing to have to lead. So bad.
Yeah.
Well, we're pushing a long episode, but it's a good episode.
That's a good episode.
Yeah, I mean, I
think-
was scrolling through the answers on this question. I mean, basically, all hit, you know, what people are saying, like money, access to skating rinks, all that. So
we're just
Actually
as
got
good as
talented kids, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, hockey's not the sport where you say, "Oh, my kid's not the most coordinated. I'm going to throw him in hockey." You know, I think those are the kids that end up in
true.
chess club and choir, and yeah, it's not one for the faint of heart.
No.
Got one of those.
I am one of those.
Son of a bitch.
high school theater.
No.
I like it.
That's the three of us.
Anyway,
All right, Brandon.
shall
You want to
we?
play us out?
Take us
Brandon?
out.
yes. So thank you to Derek for joining us, and thank you all for listening, and thank you to our loyal patrons for supporting the show. If you haven't already, head over to Patreon at patreon.com/qualifiednonsense to show your support. Watch us over on YouTube at youtube.com/@qualifiednonsense. Also, check out our Discord somehow. And then feel free to send any questions or comments to qualifiednonsense@gmail.com or hit us up on our socials found in the episode description. After you've done all that, please also rate, review, share, like, and subscribe on your podcast app of choice. We'll see you back here next week for another brand new episode of Qualified Nonsense.
But before we go, we allow our guests to plug one thing that they have going on. Derek, do you have
Yeah,
anything you
plug
want to
away.
plug?
Should have done that
Mountain View
before I
Arena?
read all that.
No,
We could,
We can switch
I really don't have
Fix it in
anything to
editing.
plug. Sorry, I don't. I'm a boring guy. I'd like to plug Matty Ice for being such a great friend and inviting me on because that was a great time. I appreciate it.
Nice. Well,
thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining
Thank
us.
you.
That was
That
fun.
was a pleasure.
Derek told me he was actually nervous, and I think I've only seen him without words once. So that's it was good. It's good. It wasn't so bad, was it?
No, not at all. You're just talking, right? And you guys make it easy too. So appreciate that. It was a great time.
Well, you're welcome anytime.
Absolutely.
All right. Yep.
And
Bye.
we're out.